What's going on? You're watching Panthers Post to Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. As you can see, not the normal background. I'm on vacation in the West Coast, the left coast, the best coast. He's already done it by now, so my brother's proposing to his girlfriend. So that's why I'm out here on the west side of Canada, if you want to call it that. But yeah, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, who played at 10 a.m. I love this coast so much. They beat the Washington Commanders, Ron Rivera's squad, of course. I didn't realize Reggie Boniface's on that squad. 23-21 with a Matt Corrall winning drive without completing a single pass. That has got to be a stat of the year when it comes to preseason. But let's talk about who stepped up. Mainly with the quarterbacks, because that's what really stood out to me. Baker Mayfield getting the start. Apparently, after the game, Matt Corrall said that they're going to be as fair as possible. Maybe, Sam Darnold's going to start the next preseason game. But Baker Mayfield starting with the first squad, and he looked like he belonged. First of all, number one thing I wrote in my notes, he looks cool. He just looks cool. We haven't had a quarterback that just looks cool with everything on since Cam Newton. I just love the Revolution helmet. You got the visor. 6 looks awesome. And, I think he fills it out nicely. I'm saying that right now. He looks good. He looks good in the uniform. In terms of performance-wise, that shoulder doesn't seem to be bothering him. He uncorked it a couple times. One time to Robbie Anderson. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But he looked like in command of the offense despite getting less time with Ben McAdoo's offense and Sam Darnold. Then he looked pretty good there. Looked in command of the controls, pre-snap. Mobility looks good. Again, the shoulder's not bothering him. That's really nice connections with Shi Smith. More on him a little bit later. He had a surefire touchdown to Robbie Anderson. Let's talk about that. Robbie Anderson rocking the number 3. Freaking guy needs a third hand. He had both hands on the ball in the end zone. He was draped over by 2 DBs, so I'm not going to hate him on that. But we know he had the dropsies last year to start the season. Can't be doing that. He had 2 hands on the ball. Heck, if you have 1 hand on the ball, I think the rule is you got to catch it. 2 hands on the ball. Come on, man. Especially with a touchdown, surefire touchdown right there. I know you got 2 DBs on you, but he was easily ahead above both of them, but it just got knocked out. Unfortunate. Baker should have come away with a touchdown, but he moved the chains. He kept it going. He just made things happen with his feet, whether it's finding Shi Smith or the tight ends or the fullbacks. He always made things work in that sense, extending plays, doing what Baker does that he did with the Browns. And so, for a guy who's not super tall, like maybe 6 foot, 6'1", I think he did a really good job. They're a really good connection. Now to a receiver who did step up, Shi Smith. Now, this is the second preseason in a row that Shi Smith has done a really good job. As long as he stays healthy, I think he can be that, that 4th receiver. But you got to think about, and people were talking about this in the comments below. So you got DJ Moore, you got Robbie Anderson, right? In my opinion, you got Terrace Marshall, who did not play this game. And then you got Brendan Zylstra. I can't be mad at him, right? Mr. Dependable. And then you got Shi Smith, C.J. Saunders, who didn't register a catch. And so, I love Shi Smith. I love Shi Smith in the draft process. Last year, I was happy when they picked him up out of South Carolina. I think he gets those tough yardage. I think he gets the yaks. He's kind of like a skinnier DJ Moore. I called him Steve Smith 2.0 with his tenacity. But I think just up against starting defensive backs, give or take a couple who were sitting out because they're vets, I think he did a really good job. I hope he stays healthy because I think he could be an X factor, maybe light a fire under a guy like Terrace Marshall to have him step up. You got a guy who's drafted below you stepping up with the first team. Hopefully he performs, and hopefully both those guys stay healthy heading into their second year, respectively. Defense stepped up and helped Sam Darnold in a big way when he came in for the second series for the Panthers. A fumble recovery. He had a real short field and did not make any mistakes about it. No hesitation. Found Rashad Higgins with nice over-the-shoulder toss. Real nice touch there for Sam Darnold up against, the second-string defense. And, if we're all being honest here, Sam Darnold's going to be the second-string guy for the Panthers. So the fact that he did a good job out there against second-string defense, shouts to him. I'm kind of moving on from that because I think Baker's got the job. It's kind of the same way I'm moving on from P.J. Walker. He took on, I think, majority of the second half. And as Josh Klein from the Riot Report astutely put it, it's not that they don't want to develop Matt Corrall. It's that they want to trade P.J. Walker or get him a good enough showing for people out there for him to get picked up by another squad. Maybe the Washington Commanders, but I doubt it. But so P.J. Walker out there an extended period of time. People not happy about that, but I'm sure at the bank when they have the next preseason game, I'm sure Matt Corral is going to get a good enough looks. And speaking of Matt Corral, okay. Unfortunately, he was up against the Washington Commanders, who drafted my quarter Korean crush in Sam Howell out of University of North Carolina. And Sam Howell decided to have a very good day against the Carolina Panthers. He rushed for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown. Compared to Matt, I don't know. I don't follow Commanders practice very often, but from what I'm reading on the Twitter machine as I was watching the game, he's getting a lot more reps. He's getting a lot more reps. You know, whether it's the second team reps, and for a rookie, you need those to help you in the game. Sounds like rocket science, of course. I'm a genius, but Sam Howell had a great game. Again, showed a lot of poise, showed a lot of knowledge and comfort with the offense, using his feet to make plays, to find receivers downfield. He's definitely a stockier, bigger guy. Looks like he's a bit more built for the NFL right now in terms of taking the punishment. But I thought Sam Howell played really well. But again, this is a Panthers podcast. I'm just projecting because I kind of wanted them to pick him up. Hometown guy, quarter Korean, come on. But Matt Corrall, again, you got to preface everything by saying that he was playing with guys who might not even make the team, but he was also playing against guys who might not even make Washington squads. So he had a lot of happy feet, great maneuverability, obviously. Got caught a couple times, but didn't show a lot of accuracy, didn't show a lot of power. Just a guy who just seemed kind of uncomfortable. And it kind of just made me think about one of the ESPN analysts, I forget totally who it was, but they were saying if his son was getting drafted this year in the 2022 NFL draft, the last place he'd want his son to play for right now is the Carolina Panthers, because just the way the coaches are set up right now, coach on the hot seat, he doesn't have time, unless that rookie ends up being Russell Wilson, he doesn't have time to develop and give any real attention to that rookie quarterback. He's got to worry about his job, so he's going to put his future, his actual future, in the hands of veterans like a Sam Darnold, which sounds scary, or a Baker Mayfield, not as scary. Putting in the hands of a rookie quarterback who's undersized and slight, that's petrifying. So it kind of makes sense if they're not. I'm not at practice, unfortunately, but it makes sense that he's not getting the looks that he should be to prepare himself for games like today. But hey, didn't throw a single pass, but the defensive lineman wanted to see his pretty-ass face, so he ripped that helmet off, got that major penalty, put them into field goal range. Zane Gonzalez knocks it out. Panthers win 23-21. So technically, Matt Corrall, 1-0, game-winning drives in the NFL. Sam Howell, 0-1. So that's really all that matters right now. So Matt Corrall hopefully gets some more time, but I think now this may reset some people's expectations for this rookie. Despite the promise that he has, you got a coaching staff that are fighting for their jobs, and I don't think they're going to put it on a rookie. So it's the Baker Mayfield show. It's the Bake Show. Someone should make a T-shirt of that. But yeah, those are my takes, at least on the quarterback side, because I think that's what people are really looking at right now. Shi Smith playing well. But those are kind of my highlights. Those are my MVPs, if you want to MVP anybody, for the first preseason game of the year. So, recap in the same old spot, back in the T-Dot, preseason game number 2. Enjoy.